The C# Dev Kit extension is the best way to get started with C# in Visual Studio Code. Whether you're a total beginner or an expert, you can build C# applications with this tool. Today, I'm going to be walking you through two super important feature sets in the C# Dev Kit so that you can be successful when you're building out your C# applications. We're going to be talking about project management and package management. But firstly, if you're totally new to the C# Dev Kit, you might want to check out this video first to get your environment all set up and really set you up for success with this video. All right, now let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is project management in the C# Dev Kit. So here I am in VS Code. I don't have any projects or folders open yet, but what I do have is the .NET SDK installed on my machine. I have .NET 8, and I've also configured my VS Code environment for C# development. So by going into the extensions view and typing in C#, you can see that I have the C# Dev Kit. If you don't have it, just do this process and hit install here. The first thing I'm going to be doing is creating a new .NET project with this blue Create Project button, which will appear if you have the Dev Kit. This pops open a menu of different .NET project templates based on the workloads I have. So I've got Aspire, .NET MAUI, ASP.NET Core, etc. I can also pop open this menu with the command palette. So if I do Control-Shift-P and hit .NET, you'll see a whole bunch of different commands that you can use when you're developing your project. So I could build my project, clean it, generate assets, even install a new .NET SDK. But I'm going to be hitting New Project, and today I'm going to be making a to-do API. First thing I have to do is find a place to put it. So I'm going to create a demo API folder, and then I'm going to name my project demo API as well, and create project. Here, VS Code is going to reload with that new project open, and we're going to see a couple of things. The first thing is that VS Code opened this welcome page, which might be helpful if you're new to VS Code. There's a couple of walkthroughs to get started here, but I'm going to go ahead and close that. It also opened up my Explorer view with my project open. So this is just the basic File Explorer view, and right now it's showing me everything that was generated for my project. Basically all of the files that are within my demo API folder. Some of these aren't going to be super helpful for me. I'm not going to be probably diving into bin all that much as I'm making my project. So instead, I'm going to use a different view that is allotted to me by the C# Dev Kit, and that's the Solution Explorer view. I quickly want to point out that you can drag this around and really customize this view here. But if I were to open this up, what I get to see is this really logical view of my application. So I have my demo API solution with my demo API project inside of it. And here I can look at all of my dependencies, NuGet packages involved in this project. I can check out my program CS and other important files that I may have created in this project. This particular file is a API, which is returning some weather data. But before I start running this thing, I just want to quickly show you one more thing that you can do from this Solution Explorer, and those are our right-click options. So if I go up to my solution here and right-click, I can add a new project, I can add an existing project, I can build, rebuild, or clean my project. I can also do those from these icons. And if I do the same thing by right-clicking on my project, then I get a whole nother menu of options. So I can add a new file, add a new folder, add a project reference, add a NuGet package, and much more. So before I run that, I'm going to go ahead and add a breakpoint here, just inside where I'm calling that API. And I have a couple ways of running this. So first off, I can go into my Run and Debug menu here, and I can just click this Run and Debug button, select my C# debugger, and do the default configuration. I also could have done that from this button up in the right-hand corner. And what's happening when I hit debug is VS Code is going to build my project, and then it's going to start a localhost running it in a full debug process. The other thing it's going to do is open up a Swagger UI so I can test out my application. So let me go ahead and grab that. All right, here's my Swagger UI. So I can go ahead and try it out, can execute this. And now what we'll see is that I've hit my breakpoint. And a couple of cool things pop up. We get a lot of information from this Run and Debug section here. So number one, I can check in on my local variables. I can add a couple of expressions that I specifically want to watch in this watch area. And I can also get a really good view of the call stack at this point. Further, I can use this little menu up here to actually start the debugging process of my application. So I could step over this, I could step into it, step out, restart, or stop it. So let's say I continue it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Swagger UI so I can show you what this is looking like. All right, looks like it's working. And I can stop it here. So the next thing I'm gonna do here is go back into my Explorer, and I'm actually gonna create my to-do API. So I'm gonna right-click on my demo project, add a new file, and this is gonna pop open another template menu, this time just for files. So I'm gonna create a class, and I could give that a name to-do. But now that I think about it, it might be a bit better if I created a new class that I could reference or share with other projects. So I'm actually gonna not do that here, and instead I'm gonna create a new project. So I get that same familiar templates menu. I'm gonna go down and create a class library. I'm gonna call it app logic and put it in the default directory and create my project. So what we'll see here is that app logic project was created at the same level as my demo API project, and they're both within the demo API solution. So now I can expand this. Once again, I get a good dependencies view here, just as I have with my demo API project. And now I can go ahead and I'm actually going to rename this to to-do, open this up, and now I can create my to-do class. So let's call it to-do. And GitHub Copilot's already given me some suggestions, which is very helpful in this case, even though this is quite a simple to-do here. I actually want to add in a description. The other thing I'm noticing here is these yellow squiggles, and that's just telling me that null safety is on. And since strings are nullable types, I can simply add these to get rid of those squiggles. And then I'll save it. The final thing I'm going to show you here is how to add a reference to this new project from within my demo API project. So I can go ahead and right-click on Demo API, select Add Project Reference, and it's going to give me options of the different projects that I have inside of my solution. In this case, it's just App Logic, so it makes it pretty easy. And we'll start to notice here a project section will open up in my dependencies view. And if I open up, I'll see that reference to my App Logic project. Pretty simple. So that was your quick introduction to project management using the C# Dev Kit. Next up, we're going to be talking about package management. So let's say for each of my to-do items, I want to add a due date. So for example, if I have grocery store as one of my items, I could designate tomorrow as the due date. I would probably use a date time struct for this, but if something's actually due tomorrow, I probably just want it to say tomorrow instead of having this long date and time. So I'm going to be adding in the NuGet package humanizer into my project to manage this formatting translation. And along the way, I'm going to be showing you a couple of tips and tricks when it comes to package management using the C# Dev Kit. Let's get into it. I'm back in Visual Studio Code so that I can show you how to add the humanizer NuGet package to my project. This is going to allow me to humanize an instance of date time and get back a string telling me how far forward in the future a particular to-do item's due date is. First, I'm going to open up the demo API's csproj so that we can see in real time the current NuGet packages that I have, and we'll be able to see them updating as well. We can also view this from within the Solution Explorer. I'm going to right-click on the demo API project and add NuGet package. Then I'm going to search for humanizer, and the C# Dev Kit will search for relevant packages. So there's a lot of them, but I'm just going to select this main package, which has all of the translations. Typically, I would go for the latest version, but I'm going to get an older version so that I can show you how to update this package from inside the Solution Explorer. Alrighty, we can now see humanizer here on line 10, as well as in our Solution Explorer. I'm going to go ahead and right-click on this and update it. Once again, we get that selection of different package versions, and now we can see the current version we have as well as the latest. So I'm going to select the latest, and we should be seeing our humanizer package updating in real time. Finally, I'm going to show you how you can delete packages. Once again, right-clicking on our NuGet package humanizer, and then selecting remove NuGet package. And in a couple of seconds, we'll see that humanizer package disappear from our dependencies view of our project. So package management is made pretty simple by the C# Dev Kit. So there you have it. There's your quick tour of project management and package management using the C# Dev Kit. But there's so much more to learn about this awesome tool, so I'll be sure to leave a bunch of links in the description below to different tutorials and documentation. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the VS Code channel and learn more about Visual Studio Code. Happy coding!